Hey, Colin, we're back again, man. It's sort of like husband and wife. We're always here together. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We may argue, but we always kiss and make up, and it's always good to see
There
you, my
you
man.
go. That's why we're good partners.
So,
Today, it's all about A players. How do you
yeah,
hire an A player and improve your top line by 20%? Now, there's been some books on this. There's been a lot of talk on it. It comes and goes in waves. Question is, what is an A player? Pareto's rule, as we know, 80% of your gross comes from 20% of your reps. An A
mm,
player is in the 20%, but an A player is in the top 10%
hmm
of the 20%. We're going to talk today about these characteristics. And in a startup, particularly, this could be a life saving hire. Now, you place all over the world with people.
yes.
Are you seeing A players really rare, or are you bumping into them more in the Americas or maybe in APAC or et cetera?
Sure. What I would say is it's important to first of all define what an A player is. And from what I see based on my years of experience, what I would define as an A player, particularly in the world of sales, it's someone who has a very strong work ethic, who views sales not as a job, but as a profession. And you need to be able to invest in the development of yourself within that profession. They typically are somewhat entrepreneurial and prepared to take risks and to try new things. And just through work ethic, sheer tenacity, continuing to learn. You and I are both students of Brian Tracy. That is what I would define to
Right,
be an A player. It's true. Now, I
right.
don't think that they're hard to find. I think that they can be hard to identify. And I think that there are certain clues that indicates that a person is an A player. What I would say that those clues are, when I look at LinkedIn or I look at resumes, I will check what further learning and development have they done. I will check for things like President's Club. I always look at a person's tenure. If they have tenure with a proven track record of moving ahead in their career, as well as demonstrating that they've continued to grow and develop and invest in themselves, that is what I would define as an A player. That's how I find them right across the world.
I agree with your methodology, but I violently agree with how you find them based on their profile. I'll give you an example. An A player has a entrepreneurial dynamic, which you brought up, but the skill to work with a CEO and get
Mhm.
extraordinary things done. Like we have to land IBM as an account. It's enormously difficult. We need 5 people. I'm an A player and I landed IBM in 5 locations. I know you're an A player. It's extraordinary skill, it's financial background, and it's the ability to say, gee, I could literally run a startup if I had to, but I
Mhm.
love to sell. How the heck do you find that when you're looking at hundreds of profiles? Don't you have to be in the flesh to see it and then sense it? Or maybe not.
Honestly, Ed, it's a process. If I look at 100 profiles, I run it via a process of elimination. I'm currently working on a CEO search for a publicly listed business. And effectively, if I was to map it out to 100 people, I would then whittle it down to people who have proven track record of tenure. In the example of a CEO, they've been able to grow the stock price of a company. In the example of sales, they've demonstrated career progression. They've been able to earn president's clubs. From then, I would whittle it down. And I have a very, very heavy bias on I like people that take their career seriously and continue to invest and develop in themselves. And then when I'm speaking to them, I'll be honest with you, Ed, a simple tip and trick that I learned from none other than Warren Buffett is I actually like people that are also investors. And the simple reason why Warren Buffett said, I'm a better business person because I'm an investor. I'm a better investor because I'm a business person. The reason why I say this, people that proven track record of tenure, invest in themselves, but also invest in markets and understand how a business operates, understand OPEX, understand CAPEX. These are the people that when they're speaking to CEOs, they can speak their language. They can see what's happening in the business. It's not somebody who's completely wet behind the ears and has no idea how this business runs. They
Right.
can see the problems that exist in the business and the solutions for the business better than most of the people that work in the business can. People that do that, I've never seen a person like that not be successful.
You've actually nailed it because an A player is totally extraordinary. And I agree with you violently, man. They have to have a P&L background. So how does a startup hire an A player? Well, they have to first of all have a crazy comp plan. A players make money. The whole thing with Stephen Jobs. where A players work and hire A players, B players hire C players. They flock. So when you give great comp and you hire an A player, you'll get more. Second of all, they have some experience in heading something up. I headed up a division. I headed up a business. I started my own business. It got to 4 million and then I sold out. These are extraordinary people. We're in extraordinary times. And if you're not going to be a unicorn, which is that whole B2B, B2C, and that's another conversation, then having someone to help a startup in finding that it's not a diamond in the rough, it's the needle in the haystack, will make you a boatload of money. Because a good rep can make their quota, but an A player doesn't just make their quota, they build the business. And that is why we're talking a lot about A players. And that's why you and I work together. And this isn't a pitch. This is a friendship thing. People that do recruiting don't understand this. This is not recruiting. This is engineering. And I think you're one of the best ever. So I love this topic. We'll talk some more. And maybe we'll even have an award for the best A player. We'll open up another subcategory. This is Ed Golod, Straight Talk. I'm here with my partner,
Colin Kleine.
Thanks for joining, and we'll see you soon.